Hi there, welcome back to Sending Ravens. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing really good, really good. So many things coming to light, so many things. People are sending me literally hundreds of emails with photographs and amazing information that so far it's completely obvious that whole inauguration ritual was false. And it was also done at a whole different time, just like I said. Okay, so all of those naysayers that were like, oh, you got it all wrong. No, I didn't get it all wrong. It was done a long time ago, likely. And people were saying they were sent a copy of it in other places in the world like 12 hours before we saw it. And then they were trying to make it look like it was aired live. The airs and or the weather in DC wasn't anything like how cold it was in those visuals of it, right? So it was done some other time. Okay, so when you just wait and watch, right? Things always come out. And that's what we're learning here. Another thing, I'm thinking the 17th letter of the alphabet, if they've done nothing else, I mean, they've done a lot as far as I'm concerned, but others would disagree with me. But if they've done nothing else, the least they've done is taught us in this time of trickery, and we're in an atmosphere of nothing we view on mainstream or in the mainstream could be real. It could all be false. So we need to keep our eyes open, think for ourselves, use our intuition, and really, really investigate things. Look around at various different sources. And we're all doing that. It's like it's created this huge army of sleuths. I think it's great. And we're learning to wake up again and not just live sleeping in the world. This is an amazing place we live in, and we can't sleep through this lifetime. We have to be present and pay attention and don't let people disrespect us on every level and, intimidate us. We can't let that happen. So we're learning to love ourselves enough to stand up for ourselves. We're all learning a spiritual lesson together. Everybody's life is full of spiritual lessons, just a series of that as far as I'm concerned. And as soon as we get okay with lessons and start having fun with it, start going, oh, what am I learning here? Instead of, oh man, this is so boring. It's like, never mind. What are you learning? How are you improving and evolving? That's what's exciting. You didn't come all the way from the spirit world to sleep this lifetime, right? We're here to be alive. So this is part of it, and it's quite exciting, really, if you look at it that way. So time to recognize that how you view your situation is absolutely going to change the whole thing. It's all about how you think about it. How do you spin it? Yeah. How do you speak about it? Right? That's another reason why I love Charlie Ward, because he always says, we're living in the most amazing times. And no matter how rough everybody gets on him, he stays upbeat, and he's like, no, because he knows the big picture. And he does have more intel than we do. Now, speaking of intel and people with intel, I mean, people may get fed false information. You never know, and we can't just believe every single thing. I don't believe every single thing Charlie says. I don't believe every single thing Simon Park says. I don't believe every single thing Prime Minister says. I don't believe do you know what I mean? All the people I watch, I don't believe every single word. Some of these psychics, they're having their own experience channeling things in the future, and it's how their intuition views it, and that I totally respect that, but I don't have to, that doesn't have to be my reality exactly, right? But I can add it to my general feeling about what's going on, and that's how it works. It's not, nobody's 100% right. Nobody's like, some people like the way I say things, but other people absolutely ardently disagree with me, and that's fine, right? Great. Right? So yeah, this is just fascinating times. Some of the things I've been reading about that are just fascinating is the whole idea of how the capital of the US was formed. Fascinating. And I won't try to repeat everything I'm learning because I'll probably mess something up there, but you know, reiterating things I'm not that great at. But I'll give you the general idea, and it's much like London and the Vatican. It's this independent sort of, it's almost like a company, right? It's like a company in the middle of the country, right? Or in the country of the United States. So it's not actually part of it. It's somehow separate. And as far as I'm concerned, it's very dubious, really, what I was reading up on. And London is also the city London is also like that. It's also very dubious. And they all link together to deep state, frankly. Just long and short of it, I'll just cut to the chase, right? Now, Ashley and I are going to look into just how deep state, dark cult are those places. We're going to look into that. In fact, we're going to film right after this for tomorrow's Deep Dive Friday. But Vatican City is exactly like that. So those three places are unique in the world, where they exist within places, but they're sort of separate in their own little. Apparently, DC, Washington, DC is 10 miles square, and it is not part of the United States. So all kinds of things apparently go on, deep state, dark cult related. Yeah, it's a there's some deep, sinister things apparently, underground things that we know are all over the world, but very much in particular there. Lots of ritual happens there. Think about that huge monument that looks like a giant phallus. Okay, that's in all three of those places, by the way. Yeah, so we've got some big, not that there's anything wrong with giant phallic monuments, I'm not saying that, but it's interesting that they all link together and they dominate over, you know, the place. And then the Pentagon, you know, look at it apparently from an aerial view, and I saw a couple of shots, right? It's like, it's got an interesting shape. These places are interesting, and there's a lot of sort of, yeah, we won't go into some of the words I could say about what I'm seeing there when I was looking at, when I was investigating it. Yeah, and the whole way it was formulated, it's very dubious, right? It was like, it like links the US and kind of somehow ends up selling the US back to the Brits. You know, long story short, there's some double cross there as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of people don't realize that. Hence the gold fringe, and I know lots of people have different explanations for gold fringe all of a sudden showing up on the flag. Yeah, so pretty tricky business there, all around, like past presidents selling out really to deep state and dark cult. Yeah, so DC, interesting, is all locked down right now, literally locked up like a prison. And I've been saying that for days. It literally looks like a prison when you look at photos, and it's got enough army and or military force in it to be like a huge, well, it may be where they're going to hold tribunals. Who knows? What are they going to really do? It's locked up like a prison. And possibly the whole thing that went down in the fake inauguration was to keep everybody watching over here, while meanwhile Trump and the White Hats, off they went to start. Well, apparently they've already signed enough things and put enough things into motion that the military is actually in charge of the United States, and they wouldn't allow an illegal government to run the United States. So I guess that's all going to come out soon. If that's a thing, that we're going to hear about that really. I was getting within 2 days, and that was yesterday. So yeah, lots of interesting things going down. Could be some big go downs here. Yeah. Now, Simon Parkes got an interesting bit of intel, he called it an intel, that put a whole nother spin on what was going on. I want to have a look at that because it did put a spin on that, you know, a lot of people, once again, didn't like. Doesn't mean it isn't true, doesn't mean it is true. So I want to just have a look at it, because that certainly wasn't what I was getting when I did. The only way it sort of links to what I was getting yesterday was I got that the White Hat / Trump group were still in formation as a group, and they were expecting something, but it was from overseas or from somewhere else. So they were expecting something, some drama. Remember that part of the reading? So I wonder if that links to something Simon was saying. So let's have a look and go watch Simon Park's his 20th reading, or was it the 21st that he put that up? And I think you can only find him on BitChute now. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look around his intel and see if there's any validity to that, because it kind of threw a whole different thing onto it. Yeah, very different than, you know, what a lot of people were thinking. And doesn't mean it isn't true. It just means, you know, who knows, he might have got, there's a lot of disinformation out there. And, you know, you get a hold of it, you run with it, you might have the wrong thing, or it's legit. Let's have a look. So this is what he got. So for the sun and the 6. Interesting. So we've got 2 4s around what Simon got. So we got part of it. He got part of it. I don't know if he got it all though. 4s, and those are minor arcana. Doesn't look like he's got them. He got some information that was correct. Something did change some of their plans. And we know this is a moving target operation. I mean, we're talking about a world war here. We're talking about a very unique one, but it's still a world war. So it feels like he got some of it, but there's some missing. So he had a little piece of it. He went with some of that. They were disappointed temporarily. There was some setbacks, but they still, a lot got done. So I think the part that feels like it wasn't correct that he was getting was the part that they didn't, you know, maybe they didn't make the arrests they wanted to, and or get some big action done they wanted to. I think that eventually happened. So I think he got some of it. They might have been thrown off a track for a while, but I feel like with perseverance, they got right back on the track. I think what he was getting might have been correct, but it got corrected within 8 hours is kind of what I got. So I think it was a glitch he picked up on, or got some intel on the glitch, but maybe didn't get the next part of it, which is, okay, we got that sorted out. So that's interesting to note. So add that to, if you go watch him, I'm not going to repeat what he said. I'm going to let him say it, but if you go watch his latest one, I think it was on the 20th, or was it the 21st? Watch both of those if you put one up on the 20th. Certainly there was one on one of those days, so that's the one I'm talking about, where he talks about why did things go down that we didn't expect on the 20th. So that could have been the 21st that he put that up. Okay, so now let's have a look at, so the rumor is, or the feeling we're getting, and a lot of intel's coming in from all these different places, and it looks like they've got DC locked down and the military are in control. And they're actually not going to create the new, so let's just jump and take a leap of faith and assume that Trump and the White Hats have a whole new way of calling the United States. They're bringing it back to a place it was in the original Constitution. So that's kind of the simplified version, right? So they're going to bring it back to a republic and take it away from the corporation that it was made into. Okay, so I'll just say it like that. And do some research on that, because of course there's way more to that. But I'm going to just say it like that, because that's kind of my way of dealing with stuff. I get the general idea and then move on, because there's too many new things happening. I'm not a detailed person, but that's okay. It works for me. Yeah, so let's look at, are we getting that? Is there a whole nother thing going on under the layers? And then everything, that would make everything we're seeing about what supposedly Biden's crew is doing and signing all those things that everybody's freaking out about, are those absolutely going to be useless? Is that just either giving him something to do and making it look good in the media, or is that literally part of the movie? My guess is it's just part of the movie. They're just faking us out. Just for starters, do you know how many binders in that photo of him with all the binders, Biden with all the binders, supposedly in the Oval Office? Really look at the Oval Office background. The wallpaper is different. Oh, and another fun thing, Frankly and Five's new secret channel, Frankly and Five's secret channel, he showed a shot where when Biden was signing those things and they had that picture of him, it was obviously, something obviously different was going on, because in the background, you could see President Trump walking behind and like in the grounds past the window. Okay. You can't make this stuff up. So he's either still in DC or they just put that in there to make fun of, the Biden dude. What is really going on? I think they're planting things to keep everybody sharp. That's my take, but I could be wrong. I think none of it's real. I think it's all just a big movie and those people are rounded up, but I could be wrong. So let's have a look at what's really going on in DC, and is there really let's start with, is the military actually in control? I know I've looked at that a few times, but let's really look at that. Wow. Okay, a lot of the things we're worried about that are happening or happened on the 20th didn't really. This card's about unnecessary stress. And when I did that layout on Prime Minister's show, the day of the 20th, right after everything went down and everybody was so depressed, we had to really cheer ourselves up even on that show. This 9 came up, and it's a card. It's very interesting because all these swords are going in the wrong direction in the card. In a tarot card, a sword has to go straight up and down, or there's likely a falsehood to it. So this person is worrying about and stressing about things that aren't actually going to be the case. So whatever we're worried and stressed about, good is winning. So what that says to me is, I think my version might be right. I think that whole thing was just a big play put on, not by deep state signaling by them. It was almost so over the top signaling. It felt like it was literally almost a joke on signaling. Honestly, the Bible was just setting it right over the top. Literally looked like a prop from a movie, probably from Witches of Eastwick or something, seriously. Or maybe a Harry Potter movie or something. It was almost comical. And then that stupid story they came up with explaining it, give me a break. That was hilarious. It was hilarious. Oh, and then somebody pointed out and showed me a photo of Kamala Harris, or whoever that lady was, put her little purse down. So she had one of those clutches, and she laid it down on the Bible and then put her hand on the Bible. You can't make it up. Like, give me a break. Like that would actually happen. Unbelievable. Yeah, I think they're just having a laugh at this point. I really do. And that's what this looks like. And we've got this 10. Things are way better than they look. Well, this is good news. I think it could be right. Okay, so yeah, things are better than they look. We've got, so the 3 of Pentacles. So the 3 of Pentacles, they're working with the deep state. So they got some kind of working agreement. And that's what I got. For those guys to even still be on the earth plane, they made some kind of working agreement to go along with some of this. So some of those people might have actually been themselves. Or that was filmed with some of them for real. Some of them were false. We saw seams in the back of, like, Biden. We don't think we've actually seen the real Biden for months, apparently. A lot of people are saying that. Yeah, so he's not real. But there could have been a few thrown in there that were real, right? So they're working with them, even though, of course, they don't like it. Because those guys know they're outed, they're done. So my take's a little different than everybody else's, but you know, that's just me, right? I'm just getting what I get. I'm just getting what I, and this card tells me it's absolutely true that not Biden's crew or Trump's crew are actually literally at the helm. It would be an army or a military, because this card's like an impartial, somebody that's for the people and for the Constitution. That's what that's telling me. That's what's going on. And that DC is a separate thing, and they're going to move. So they've got this strategy to move the capital. So the new government is going to move the capital somewhere else. And everybody's going to be let in on that. So something's already officially gone on in the background to create a new these United States, or even like reverse things and bring it back to an original state that doesn't involve the Brits, and is free and clear of a whole lot of things that the deep state have, you know, that allowed the deep state to seep in to every corner of the country and the world. And we're all watching, and we're all going to watch and learn from this. And we're going to help heal our countries as this happens. And that's just how it goes. Thank you so much for watching my video, and do like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already.